Full disclosure, the video title is a lie, a work of fiction, a complete and total ruse designed to bamboozle you specifically. Or more accurately, it's just not entirely honest. A tad incomplete, if you will. It's not that you should stop putting TTV in your name completely, it's just that there are two very specific circumstances in which you shouldn't. The first is the most readily apparent and easily fixable. I don't think you should keep TTV in your name if you're not live. I cannot tell you how many times I've played against a TTV, finished up the match, logged on afterwards to watch things from their perspective, which is fun to do, only to see that they're not live. And not only that, they have not been live since, I don't know, the release of the Saw chapter way back when. It's not morally wrong or anything crazy like that. I mean, it is just a game. It's just that I don't get it. I don't understand. If you're on Steam, changing your username is as easy as beating Solo Sokoa post Crown Jewel. All you have to do is tap a few buttons, delete the TTV part, and boom, you're good to go. Obviously, this does not apply to console players. The criminals at Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo already charge you to use your own internet, so why wouldn't they also bleed you for some extra shekels by charging you to change your gamer tag? And I better not hear any console fanboys giving me a hard time about bringing that up, because look, play on whatever platform works best for you. I get it. I'm not criticizing console gaming in and of itself. I'm just saying that these major gaming companies are diabolical and they shouldn't be able to get away with all that they do. That's my point. It's not a criticism of you or your console. But I digress. This is not a rant about the evil Cerberus that's squeezing the life out of the hobby I love. This is an admittedly goofy video about people who put TTV in their name in Dead by Daylight. And yeah, continuing on the thought from earlier, it's kind of strange to me to see people that put TTV in their name but never stream, or at least are not currently streaming. Maybe they view it as passive marketing, but I'll tell you now, I am not normal, I'm not stable, and I'm not passive, I'm aggressive. And if I go to your page after a match and you're not live, I'm not leaving a follow, I'm not dropping you a follow. All I'm leaving is yet another precious shred of my once intact sanity. But ultimately, this first part was mostly in good fun. Sure, leaving TTV in your name can be kind of annoying, but I'm 90% sure this is just a me problem and that nobody else is annoyed by it. Just another moment of senile Das Food being an old man and yelling at the clouds, as I do. Maybe people are doing it for passive marketing, maybe they're on console and don't want to pay to change it, maybe seeing the TTV in their name reminds them of the good times back when they did stream. Hey, maybe they aren't even live right now, but they still stream regularly and they just forgot to change it because hey, guess what? People do make mistakes. I'm aware of that. I know I sound crazy. These things happen. Only people crazy enough to main the clown would get upset by this kind of thing. So let's move into the part where I talk about something that actually bothers me, and that's people who put TTV in their name and then they accuse everybody they play against of stream sniping. Whereas the first people I talked about are benign and ultimately harmless, these streamers are the worst of the worst. Streamers in general do tend to get a bad rep, but in my experience, most of them are extremely pleasant. Just recently, I had a lovely experience with a wholesome skull merchant main, of all things, and it was such a pleasant experience that I decided I now enjoy the character. Not really, of course, but the whole interaction was so pleasant that I decided to be a little nicer to Scully going forward. Just barely, but you know, it's the best I can do. There's this stereotype about streamers that they're mostly just clout-starved adult children who rage in video games and who don't want to work a real job, but that's really not the case. Most streamers are just regular people who really like video games and enjoy broadcasting them to a small group of friends. While nearly every streamer would love to quit their day job and stream full time, I mean, who wouldn't? That is an incredible blessing and you have to take it if you get the chance. Most of them know that's not very realistic. In the same way that dudes playing in a church softball league know they'll never be crushing dingers for the Atlanta Braves, most streamers know they'll never be in the same position as Otts, Hins, Lilith Omen, or any other massive creator. Those spots are few, far between, and nearly impossible to claim. Trust me, I know. Still, knowing you'll never headline a music festival doesn't make karaoke less fun. I'm still gonna throw a few brews back and give the audience the worst rendition of Uptown Funk they have ever heard. It's not about being good, it's about having fun. And some TTVs really seem to forget this. In fact, I don't think they've thought about fun since their childhoods. Like that one critic from Ratatouille who lived a miserable existence each and every day up until Ratty the Rat cooked up what is in reality a very mid dish. Zucchini is icky. I said what I said. I'm not sorry. I don't want Ratatouille. Some people put TTV in their name and instantly assume planet Earth is out to get them. They act like they're in that one John Wick movie where the Continental puts out an announcement where they basically just say, hey, yep, everybody should really target this one guy. You've definitely seen the type I'm talking about before. You've watched them, you've played with or against them. Heck, maybe you even are one of them. And if you are that person, allow me to be the one who tells you. It's not that deep. No matter where you are on the map or what you're doing, the killer probably didn't find you because they're stream sniping. They probably found you by mostly random chance. And if you were hiding behind a bush or in a locker or something like that, maybe your spot just wasn't as clever as you thought it was, which is fine, by the way. It happens. I mean, everybody gets outsmarted at some point. It's not meaning you're a bad player or anything. It's just also not evidence of cheating. Also, there are like a billion perks and abilities that tell the killer your general or exact location, so there's that too. Same goes for killer streamers too, even I guess to a lesser extent. Instead of assuming that the survivors are stream sniping, assume first that they might just be playing well. Assume that your build was countered either by bad luck or because your strategy was just too common or predictable. Don't always go for the worst possible interpretation of your opponent's actions, even though I know that this one is kind of more of a survivor thing for reasons we'll get into in a little bit. People who constantly cry stream sniper are miserable to play with. They're miserable to watch too. Whenever I encounter these people, I genuinely wonder how they act when they're offline. When stream sniping isn't a possibility, do they actually give their opponents credit for skillful or lucky plays? Or do they do like I assume they do and switch from one accusation to another, promoting the opposing player from sniper to cheater? It's the latter option, by the way. I've played with enough of these people, I know. For a little bit of a TLDR, no, not every killer or survivor is stream sniping you. In fact, the vast majority of them aren't. But if I may say something a little out there, and bear with me, even if they are stream sniping you, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sure, there can be some jerks who target you specifically and bleed you out or hit you on the hook just because you're a TTV. These things happen, but they're not super common. More often than not, people come to your stream because of natural curiosity. By putting TTV in your name, you're advertising your Twitch channel. You're essentially putting up a billboard that says, hey, come check out my stream. Come on in, the door's wide open. You can imagine a person's reaction then when they come to the stream and are instantly buffeted with a hail of insults and accusations. Maybe they pulled up the stream, muted it, and minimized the tab. Maybe they were actively watching to gain a competitive advantage. You literally cannot know, and by lambasting this person for the fantasy crime of stream sniping, you've all but guaranteed they'll never become a regular viewer. You got so caught up defending the integrity of a DBD match of all things that you missed the opportunity to vibe and connect with a new viewer. It is an asinine way of going about things, especially since Behavior themselves has said that stream sniping is not a bannable offense. Yes, you heard me correctly. That thing that some streamers send reports to the devs about, those same devs have already put it in writing that you are reporting a made-up crime, and they're not going to do anything about it. It's like when an opponent uses shaders. You may not like it, but the devs have officially given it the go-ahead. So all you're doing by reporting it is assuring that your complaints go into the very special file at Behavior HQ, the one that nobody reads. Ultimately, stream sniping is inevitable in a game like DBD, especially for the survivor side. Killer names aren't displayed until after the match, so you essentially have to rematch with the killer or have somehow luckily already been spectating them. Again, cheaters have a bit of a workaround at this, but the issue there is not the stream sniping, it's the cheating. Luckily, Behavior has made it so that if you want to all but ensure that you never get stream sniped, that's an option too. Just alter your settings so that instead of displaying your username, the game just lists you as Sable Ward or Nia Carlson or something like that. And then boom, problem solved. It's taken care of. Sure, that is going to severely limit traffic to a small Twitch channel, but isn't that what you want? What's the point of attracting people to your channel if you're just gonna bite their heads off when they come in? The choice is ultimately up to a streamer, whether they want new viewers to find their stream or not. And I'm tired of people asking for new viewers and then berating those same viewers. No, this is not a major issue in the game, and no, this whole ordeal is not killing DBD or anything wild like that. It's just an annoyance that has bugged me for almost a decade now, and I wanted to get this off my chest. It became especially real to me back when I would stream more consistently and killers would come in and say something like, "Hey, I'm the killer, good luck, I'm gonna mute now, I promise I'm not stream sniping." And that always made me sad because they were defending themselves before the accusation could even come in. They were so conditioned to their kindness being questioned, to their curiosity being questioned, that they have to go in the defensive before I can even get the opportunity to blast them for the crime of coming to my stream, which I never did, by the way. Because DBD isn't serious at all, and it is not worth killing the vibe over. I know the us versus them mentality is absurdly prevalent in this community, and that both sides have a bad habit of accusing the other of ridiculous things that, by the way, aren't even really problems. Seriously, some of y'all have got to learn that nobody has ever been or will ever be banned for slugging, tunneling, or gen rushing. They're just not crimes. You don't get in trouble for them. In the case of stream sniping, it is not the most honest way of playing a match. I will grant that. But it's also part of the bargain that comes with advertising your channel. It's the same thing as how I know that the more views a video gets, the more people it reaches, the more dislikes and critical comments it's going to receive. That's just how these things go. But obviously, I wouldn't trade that. That's just a natural part of growth, and you gotta have that mental fortitude to realize that sometimes people are not always going to be ideally kind on the internet. It happens, it's not a big deal. But ultimately, that's my rant. Closing thoughts here. If you've never gotten bent out of shape over potential stream sniping, bully for you. You're a good lad, and I see great things in your future. If you have gotten angry about this fantasy crime, though, it is certainly never too late to change. Let the stress roll away like water off a duck's back, and I promise you, the game becomes infinitely more fun. Don't worry about if you won or lost or how the competitive balance was. Just worry about if you had a good time. And if you had a good time, guess what? You're the real winner all along. But of course, now this is the part where I kick it over to you. This is the part where I tell you that I want to hear what you've got to say, because sometimes the comments surprise me, and I feel like this one's kind of spicy. So I am interested to see if I have people backing me on this, or if it's like, whoa, Food, where did this rant come from? This is so random. Either way, I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I always appreciate it. I thank you so much for the love, the support, the positivity. You know, if you have critical comments, go ahead, make them. I promise you, it's no big deal. How hypocritical would that be of me to be bothered by that? But I have been Das Food, and until the next video, bye friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness.